It's a tough one today, folks. We just lost a real one of the best out there in terms of his sportsmanship, his zest for life. He brought smiles wherever he would go. He started this game when he was very young and fashioned his own set of golf clubs from the branches of a guava tree when he was a kid, and he got proficient at golf pretty quickly, all because he can make more money caddying. So I thought, what better way than to pay homage to this man by looking at his swing. It's going to be a quick evaluation, look at his cause and effects, and maybe we can still see that guava branch in his hand and how it manufactured his swing. Never won majors, but he did win plenty of times. He won 8 times in the tour, and I believe 22 times in the senior tour, so he definitely made a living, and he touched a lot of people's lives. I know I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss a celebration, so let's get started by watching why Chi-Chi was Chi-Chi.
We go to 17.
That's a birdie putt for Chi-Chi Rodriguez. Yes! So we have a little dueling. Think wipe off the sword now. Back from 2 to 1 over par.
All right, and here we have Chi-Chi on the screen, and this is in his later years, but his swing actually got better, in my opinion, the more he played. And it could be that he was just surrounded by better players and he picked their brains and learned how to play a little bit differently. But we will take a look at his younger swing and see how different it really was. And this older swing, when he was older, you can see how upright it is in terms of the plane. It is almost like Mo Norman, almost like a one-plane takeaway, one-plane setup. And what we're going to do is see how steady he was able to keep his whole body on the way back, specifically with his head. Watch his head and watch how he takes that club back. Look at how still that head is. It is absolutely rock steady. And you can see with him setting up so high, bringing that plane height much higher than we see nowadays, we can see that he gets that club right on that lower plane line with his hands. So his hands are already met that lower plane line. I did an evaluation on Donald Trump. Donald Trump does this as well. He does it differently. He starts very much over and he lifts up. What we can see Chi-Chi do is Chi-Chi, he does a really good job in terms of getting his shoulders to tilt around that spine angle. So usually what you'll see in his older swing, we'll take a look at his older swing at the end of this, and you actually see him dip down a lot and come back up. But he hit the ball pretty far because of that dipping down motion. Obviously, as he gets older, he's not able to do that as much. But you know what? This steadiness of his swing allowed him to hit a lot of straight shots. And you notice he started to win much more on the senior tour. Now we take a look at the hands. The hands are already below that lower plane line for him, because he set that lower plane line much higher. And this is key for him because as he comes down into the golf ball, look at that. You can already see that club is matching that lower plane line to a T. It is perfect on that lower plane line. Look at that. And as he comes through, now he can just sit against that back brakes line and start to rotate around. So even though he is older in this clip, he is still using the leg drive. He's still trying to spin around that, driving the weight from his right toe to his left heel. And you see where the club finishes. I mean, this is just past impact, and the club has already passed through the golf ball, maintaining itself on that lower plane line. And as he comes through, we see the release, and look at that club head now. It is bam, right around that plane line. So even though that setup is a little unusual, he is able to stay very centered as he turns. And if we look at his old swing, meaning when he was younger, you will see how much he does not stay still. So let's take a look, because it's pretty interesting. So here is his older swing in terms of him being younger. So this is when he was a younger man. He probably had a little bit more flexion, a little bit of range of motion. We can see he's not as high as his older self. So the plane lines aren't as close because he's not setting it as high. But take a look at this takeaway and watch that left shoulder. Look how the left shoulder just dips down. So he is now changing his spine angle when he was younger. So he's dipping down, his left shoulder's tilting down. And what this will probably help him do is as he's turning back, he's pushing all that weight to that inside of his right toe region. And that is basically storing all that power down there so he can push up into it. You see he has a great turn, tilting's down, so he's pushing down. What happened to his arms? Look at where his arms are. They are at that lower plane line. So we see he got there differently when he was younger. His whole body tilted tilted down and pulled his hands inside. When Chi-Chi got a little older, he didn't have the ability to tilt down, so he changed his playing work to be higher, so it was less effort for him to get down there. So it's brilliant what he did. I don't know if he did it on purpose or if it was just, hey, sometimes wine gets better with age, so it could be that. But let's clear up some of these lines now, and let's take a look. We're going to leave that green line down there, and let's take a look as he sets it down. We can still see, does he get it in the slot? Probably. So there is slightly below the slot, and he comes through. But what he does great that he didn't do as well when he was older is look how he's staying against his back brace line. And now there's all the push from that right toe to the left heel, and this is where he gets his power. Look at that rotation. Now he's returned back to his original spine angle. He comes through, and we see that arm escape in between the plane lines. So it's not a very pretty swing. Obviously, learning golf with a guava stick as your club, you are not going to get the same weighting. But can you imagine just finding golf? I mean, some people are just born to play golf, and how they get introduced to golf is maybe God's will or the universe saying, hey, I know you're supposed to be a golfer. I'm going to find a way for golf to find you. And he found golf, and he made it his own. And man, I'm going to miss the guy. I really loved watching Chi-Chi when I was a kid growing up, because when I was a kid growing up, he just got on the senior tour. My dad would always watch him. I would always just be so infatuated by the guy with his Zorro sword. And, it's just, man, I wish there were more like him. So rest in peace, my friend. You've touched a lot of people. You've done great things in this game, and I know you are going to be missed. And this is just another reminder that this game of golf is typically changed by those that were not meant to play it. And unfortunately, golf favors a certain demographic that can afford it. Now, I'm just so happy that this person found golf and he was able to change its course and inspire so many children in his situation to say, if this man can do it with a guava tree, I can do it too. Hope that helps you, but I'll see you tomorrow. Fairways and green.